welcome to the special Children's Day edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. I'm Karunya Rao, and today it's all about the kids. We'll be helping you out throughout the show to plan how you can invest better, how you can plan your child's future better. We have a very special guest also joining us to help you out with those queries. Mrin Agarwal, she's the founder director of FinSafe. Mrin, hi, very good morning, and thank you so much for taking time out to join us on this very special day. We'll be talking about all about children, and you will be helping out our viewers as well as our special queries that we have garnered for helping our set of parents plan their kids' future in a better way. So we have a host of queries lined up today. Zainul and Nehan Barodawala from Mumbai, they will be joining us as well. So let's listen in to their query before we proceed further with Mrin, should we?
Hi guys, I'm Zainul Barodawala and she's my wife.
Hi, I'm Nehan. These are my twin children, Zidan Barodawala, Ruhan Barodawala.
I would like to ask you that we have been investing in mutual funds only for them. I have invested in two mutual funds. Those are HDFC and Birla Sun Life. So my question is that whether we should go for a PPF or a LIC for them.
Well, Mrin, let's bring you on board. You've heard their query from the Barodawalas. They have a set of boys, very lively, very cheery, and they have already started investing. Mutual funds is the route that they have taken up for now. Can you tell us, or can you tell them what exactly should they be doing additionally to what they've been doing so far?
Well, hello everybody and happy Children's Day. Nice to be here today. With respect to this particular query, I think it's good that they started with mutual funds, but and in respect to the fact whether they should do PPF and insurance, well, I don't believe in investment linked insurance plans or the child plans that are available. Simply because the invested returns in these plans have been very, very low. Now, with respect to PPF, it is a good investment. They have to, of course, remember that it is a 15-year investment. And more importantly, the point to be noted is that in a family of 4, you can have only 2 PPF accounts. So if the parents already have PPF accounts, then you can't open PPF accounts for the children. So keep that in mind and continue investing.
All right, Mrin, before we proceed further and talk about some more queries that we've received from different set of parents, I just want to know, do you typically get these kind of requests or queries, or even in a social circle, are you asked by parents about how they can plan their kids' future better?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these queries are really common, and especially I think nowadays, and it's good to see that there's a lot of focus on building up a large education fund for the children. So yes, I do.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get more specific then. We have another query that we would like to address at this point in the show. Namit Shah from Mumbai says, he has to ask some questions with respect to his child's future. Let's see what the question is, Namit.
Hi, my name is Namit Shah. I work with Standard Chartered Bank. I have a daughter, Tiana, who is 10 years old. What I basically have done for her investment is divided my money into three sections. One is for her education, one is for her marriage, and one is for her, travel, living, and all her fun stuff. What I really would like to know from any of the experts is that is there any other avenue which can be looked at or invested into up to a period of maybe she is about 25-30 years, so that later on she can fall back on that security and can help her out in future.
Well, Mrin, I'd leave the floor open to you. Tell us how he can plan his child's future, his 10-year-old daughter's future better.
Well, it's good to know that he's bucketed her needs, and of course education is there, marriage is there, and some nest egg to form a security. Now, since she's only 10 years old and he's looking at investment for the next 15 to 20 years, I think a good investment would certainly then be equity mutual funds. And if he's not invested in mutual funds earlier, I think he could look at starting off with multi-caps. But given that he's got 15 to 20 years to go, certainly he should look at investing in some mid-cap funds. And again, the thing to always keep in mind and remember is that there will be volatility along the way, but he really needs to be disciplined about remaining invested. Again, if he wants to be more conservative and he doesn't really want to take risk, then of course he has the option of looking at PPF as well for a 15-year investment. But there was another thing that I'd like to tell Namit, and while it's nice to really look at providing a sort of a fund as a nest egg or as a security for the child when the child grows up, I think what's also really important is to get the children involved in money management. And towards that, since she's 10 years old right now, I think he could start talking to her about what is the sort of things he's doing to build up her education fund and how he's really going about investing. And I think one of the reasons for doing this is because then children can actually learn along the way, and also when they grow up and they start working, it becomes easier for them to start managing money.
All right. Well, I hope Namit is hearing us and he's able to take the right decisions for his daughter going forward and add on to what he's already doing in order to save up for a whole host of things he has planned for his little one. Next up, we have another query. Neha and Ankur Sadhwani from New Delhi have a question for Mrin. Let's take it on board.
Hi, my name is Neha. I'm a human resource professional. This is my husband Ankur. He's into consulting, and we have a 3-year-old.
And our question is about our 3 years old. So we want to ensure that my son Athar, when he turns 21, we should not be worried about his higher education. So we want to create a corpus of fund and not be worried about his future when he goes for his higher education. So any advice, any plans right now will be very good to know.
Well, Mrin, they have a 3-year-old and they do have a fair amount of time to start planning and to start executing on your recommendations and a whole host of other plans that they may have laid out. So given that they have a lot of time, about 17 to 18 odd years, 21 years is when they want to send the child for higher education, what will be your advice and how should they be planning their future, their child's future?
First and foremost, they just need to quantify their goal further, because they talked about the time period. But what's also important is to talk about the amount of money that they need. Typically, higher education, if you want to send the child abroad, it costs around 50 lakhs a year. So they certainly would need to quantify their goal and figure out that if they were to send the child today to college, how much is it going to cost? Now, let's assume that this amount is 50 lakhs per year. So what they need to then do is that they can use a goal planning calculator. These calculators are freely available online. I mean, they can just look it up saying goal planning calculator. The calculator will really help in telling them how much they need to be investing for this particular goal every month. So if we're assuming a 50 lakh goal, they roughly need to be investing about 25,000 rupees every month for the next 18 years. But that is only the 1 year education cost. Obviously, they need to take into account, 2 to 3 years the total education cost, and then figure out the total amount that they need to save. Again, since the time frame is quite long, it's 17-18 years, they must look at equity funds, and within that I would really suggest to look at more of mid-cap funds. Of course, if they don't want to take that much risk and they want to be more conservative, then they can look at multi-cap funds. But I would suggest either multi-cap or mid-cap funds for this particular goal.
All right, so those were the three interesting parent profiles and their queries that we wanted to address with you, Mrin. But, just want to also talk to you about those who are watching the show. If they have a kid who's just probably a newborn or is just an infant at this point. So in order to start looking at the kid's future, what are some do's and don'ts that one should keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, don't go and buy a child plan, because that's the most common thing that people do, that they go and buy a child plan from an insurance company. And again, most of these plans do not yield you very high returns. So I think that's first and foremost. Second thing is, of course, they need to start saving for education fund ASAP, because the earlier you start, the better it is, because you need to be saving a smaller amount. Don't go overboard on your purchases. It's really seen that what happens is that when you have a child, you just want to buy everything under the sun and have all the toys available and really splurge. So I think you need to have budgeted spending in place in terms of what you're going to be spending on things like toys or whatever else with respect to the child. Another thing to keep in mind is, of course, like if both the parents are working, then they need to hire help, and that's not very easy to get, and it's pretty expensive as well. So somewhere they need to also budget that as part of their budgeting as well. So really, I would say it is to start investing right away. Invest in equity funds. That would be the best option to start. Of course, if it's a girl child, they can also look at the Sukanya Samriddhi scheme, which has a 21-year lock-in. That's another option that's there if they want to be more conservative. But between equity funds and Sukanya Samriddhi is what they choose. They invest regularly and don't go overboard with the expenses.
All right. Well, very wise words coming in from Mrin Agrawal. I hope all the viewers, especially the parents, are taking note of every point that you're mentioning at this juncture. Mrin, we have more queries planned for you, but this is going to be from kids. They also have a wish list. They also have goals. But we'll address all that and more with Mrin Agrawal on the other side of this break. Welcome back. You're still watching the very special Children's Day episode of Buy Now, Sell Now. Well, before we proceed any further, here's a quick word of thank you for all our viewers. Once again, they've chosen ET Now as their preferred destination for all things markets, corporates, business and policy. Thank you so much. We've got a 56% share, and it's all thanks to our viewers who've time and again preferred ET Now. On on to the markets. Nifty is trading with a gain of about 0.2%. We've seen a sudden up move as far as the benchmark index is concerned. If we pull that up, we can see the kind of up move that it is. What it has happened in the last half an hour odd. It's gained about 30 odd points at this juncture, but still I would say it's been a softish trading day so far. What is aiding this up move today is a Nifty IT index. It's up 0.7%. A Nifty Bank has bounced back from yesterday's carnage. It's gained about 0.5% as well. Auto index is also looking fairly good. It's up 0.4%, as well as the media index. After the massive sell-off in the media index yesterday, it has seen some recovery to an extent of about 0.7% in trade. Okay, let's move right on and talk to Mrin Agarwal. Mrin, we have a very special set of queries right now. Of course, managing money, planning finances is no kid's job. But there are some kids that we got in touch with who have goals already, who have set targets for set timelines, and they want to know how much can they save in order to fulfill their dreams, in order to fulfill their medium-term goals without hassling their parents or without putting any financial pressure on their parents. Firstly, I must laud how independent kids have become these days. But if you look at their queries, first up, it's a 6-year-old. It's Zidan. That's the name of the kid. He wants to buy a motorbike and travel to America when he grows up. I'm assuming, Mrin, he can be buying. He'll be able to buy a motorcycle only when he turns 18. So with that time horizon, how much money should he start saving each month or each year? What is the kind of targets should the kid have?
When I grow up, I'll buy myself a motorbike and I'll buy an aeroplane ticket to go to America for 1 year.
Get an iPhone 11 Pro and then fly to America to meet this YouTube group called #Sisters. They perform songs and they do normal videos.
A bike and a phone and a car. When I grow up, I want to have all the pets in the whole world.
I would like to buy many books because I love reading.
I would like to buy a mobile phone for myself when I grow up. Headphones, earphones, like necessary things.
I would like to buy many toys and I would like to go shopping.
I would like to buy a laptop. I would like to buy a phone. I would like to buy a nice bag for going to college.
When I grow up, I'll buy myself a motorbike and I'll buy an aeroplane ticket to go to America for 1 year.
Well, Mrin, if we talk about the wish list, two things that have been the clear winners or the clear, dreams or targets for these kids is either technology or traveling to America. First up, let's talk about Zidan's wish list then. He is about 7 years old now. So how much should he start saving?
Well, I think he's looking at buying a motorbike, which is certainly not a cheap bike. I think it starts at around 13 to 14 lakhs. And, if he were to want to buy this when he's, let's say, 18 or 21, he's got about 10 to 13 years to go for the goal. And I think he needs to be investing around maybe 7,000 to 9,000 rupees a month for that at this point in time. So that's really the sort of money that he needs to save in order to reach this particular goal. And I'm sure that along the way, along with the motorbike, I'm sure that many other goals, many other aspirations will also get added to this. So I think what he really needs to keep in mind is that while it's nice to have some of these big aspirations, you must remember that you need to be saving for it because it can't come from mom and dad bank all the time.
Absolutely. In fact, mom, dad can start at least planning so that, the corpus is ready and it doesn't come as a shock or a sudden surprise for them. Let's move on to our next query. Let's hear it out.
First, I would like to go for a trip to America. I would like to study abroad. I would like to buy many books because I love reading. I would buy a new phone, which is expensive.
Well, Mrin, that's Tiana for you. Her wish list, she wants to study abroad, she wants to make a trip to the USA and wants to buy a lot of books. So let's talk. Okay, her name is not Tiana, my bad. Her name is Talisha. So tell us, what do you have in store for Talisha, how her parents can plan ahead?
First off, where her books are concerned, because it's nice that she's into reading, I think what she should do is that I'm sure she gets money from relatives during various occasions or like birthdays or Diwali and stuff like that. I think that she should look at using this money to buy the books. Now, the bigger goal that she talked about, which is to study abroad. So obviously studying abroad costs a lot of money, and typical cost per year is about 50 lakhs if you were to do education in the US. Of course, if you go for some really, some courses might be even more. So let's say you need about a 2 crores outlay for education abroad, and that's like a huge amount. So even if you were to need this money 10 years down the line, the parents need to be saving around 1.75 lakhs per month, which is again a very, very large amount that they need to save per month. And the instrument that they need to choose is also really important. And since they have 10 years to go, I would suggest, please do not be conservative. Please choose things like multi-cap equity funds for this particular investment.
Okay, well, there you have it. That's how much you have to save, given that Talisha has a huge list of things to do by the time she grows about 15 to 17 years of age. Let's move right on and talk about the next query. It's from Tiana. Let's hear out.
Get an iPhone 11 Pro and then fly to America to meet this YouTube group called #Sisters. They perform songs and they do normal videos and challenges. So yeah.
Well, I think both the sisters definitely want to go, or friends, I'm assuming both of them want to go to the US. So that's one of the key things. They want to buy an iPhone 11, and I'm sure by the time they grow up, we'll have an iPhone 20 perhaps. So given that they want a high-end smartphone, want to travel abroad, and of course meet YouTubers, which is priceless, they cannot put a tag on that. What is the kind of planning the parents need to do?
Well, I'll answer this in two parts. The first part is, of course, the amount of money that's required. And I think roughly if they want to buy the phone and they want to go abroad as well, it's going to cost about 4 to 5 lakhs. And assuming that they do this 5 years down the line, they basically need to be investing something like 7,000 rupees per month for these particular goals. But Karunaya, I think the common thing that seems to be coming across all these kids is that they have really, really high aspirations. And I think one of the things that parents also need to do is probably to tone down some of these aspirations, because I mean, an iPhone 11 Pro costs you like what, 1.5 lakhs, right? So I think somewhere the aspirations need to start getting a little bit more balanced and maybe a little bit more conservative. And I think that's where, what happens is that children really emulate parents' spending and savings habit. So really it's upon the parents to be good role models to their children as far as even savings and investments is concerned. And that's where I think they'll have to bring in some moderation in terms of the sort of things that the kids want to have.
It was great chatting with you, and I'm sure lots of parents will get to learn a lot about their child's future planning, and they will start from day one itself, hopefully. Thank you so much once again for coming down and chatting with us and the parents. Day, and we need to cherish, we need to celebrate the overachievers, the celebrity kids as well, because kids these days are progressing and how they have their own opinion, they have their own agendas, they have their own goals and plans like never before. And for that very special segment of Celebrity Kids, we are celebrating the achievements of Ridhima Pandey. Well, call her India's Greta Thunberg, but I had the opportunity to meet her in New Delhi in this gas chamber that we're all present in at this point of time. So it's very ironic though that she's come down to Delhi to deliver to talk at an event about environment preservation, about climate change. So yeah, well, I had a chat with her. Here's a snippet from that conversation. Well, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a mask, I'm in New Delhi and the weather is so terrible, it's so polluted that I have to wear a mask. But I have a very ironically very interesting guest who's joining us right now on the show. I have Ridhima Pandey. She is an environment crusader. So we'll do the interview today. Ridhima, welcome on board and thank you for coming all the way from Haridwar.
Thank you for calling me here.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys cannot hear us clearly. That's because of the pollution. We're forced to wear a mask. So Ridhima, let's do one thing. Let's take it inside and not talk here. Let's quickly go right in. All right, so we finally settled in. We're inside the studio. I have Ridhima with me, who I thought I would lose because of all the Delhi pollution. I was worried that she'll just go back home all the way to Haridwar. But thank you so much, Ridhima, for talking to us. So firstly, how bad is Delhi? You're coming from Haridwar, then Dehradun, then Delhi. So tell us, what is the difference you feel?
Like, it's clear in Haridwar, but it's still like very hazy outside and it's not clear. And when I was coming from a flight, so I was not able to see down what is downside, is Delhi is there or not, or our flight was also moving, it was not able to find that path also. So, and it's like I'm not feeling comfortable here, and it's like I'm feeling like a burden type when I'm breathing, and I'll surely get a mask when I'll go.
Yeah, you have to. We all have got masks now. Yeah. But tell us about your journey about environment activism, Ridhima. Tell us about some of your previous petitions that you have filed and some of your work that you have done.
So, in 2017, I filed a petition in National Green Tribunal against our government that our government is not working properly on the norms of Paris Agreement and it's not fulfilling all the requirements the reduce of carbon emissions. It's not our government is not fulfilling it as they should do it, as that much I have seen.
Did you receive a response from the government?
I didn't got any type of response from the government, but after 1.5 years, NGT dismissed my case by just saying that there is no need to give any direction to a government and our government is doing everything right, which I don't think so. And now we have taken this to the Supreme Court now and it's still pending. It doesn't came to hearing yet. And I've also filed a petition with 15 other children, including Greta, in the UN against the child rights.
You know, you're what, 12 years old? So when was the first time you realized that, oh my God, things are getting out of control, we need to get into climate change activism in a big way?
There was a flood in Uttarakhand in 2013. After that flood, so in that flood I saw all that footage in television and I also read.
How old were you then?
I was 5 or 6.
Okay.
That time I came to know that all this is happening because of climate change. This is the effect of climate change and this is because of global warming. And we are the only one who is doing all these things. And we are not worried about the future. The older generation is not worried about the kids' future and they're just destroying it. So at that time I came to know about this, and when I grew up I started seeing other things also, like in Haridwar because of road widening and all that dam construction, they're cutting the forest and they're cutting the mountains and they're taking the agricultural land to set up the factories. And I saw all that, and that time I realized that I have to do something because nobody is doing something, so somebody has to do. So I take my responsibility on that.
But you were so young. Who pushed you to file a petition at that age, and who walked you through the whole process?
So it was my idea to file a petition, but I asked my father to do that. But he said that if you want that petition, you want to fight against that, so you should do that.
Okay.
In 2017, we filed that petition.
You said that right now there hasn't been any conclusion to that
Yeah.
petition. Tell us about the one you signed with Greta Thunberg and 14 others, including yourself, 15. Tell me about that. How did you join the consortium of these 16 children? What prompted you to do that? Then you went to the UN Climate Summit as well. So talk to us about the entire journey.
So after this petition of 2017, there was this news was in international media also, that they was also covering that. So I gave 2-3 interviews. So they just contacted to my lawyer to take my father's number, and after that my father and they did a discussion, and after that they took an interview, sort of interview of like 1.5 hours, and that was pretty long. And I just
So it was
messed it
just
up.
you giving
Yeah.
the 1.5 hour long interview?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was only me. So after that, they just said that they wanted me to be a part of that petition, and they will sponsor me. And after that, I went there.
How was the experience? What all did you learn there?
Like there were 15 other children
exactly.
with me, so we all just sat together and we just shared the problems other countries are facing, their countries are facing. This whole is because of global warming, and this is all about climate change.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to face the problems in future, especially the children are going to face problems in future.
So in today's day and age, the best way to spread a message is social media. So Ridhima, are you on social media or no, and which are the platforms you're using?
So I'm on Instagram. My post is always related to environment and like the things I like about the environment, like nature, beauty and all. And I post my videos also. They're like a kind of appeal or something, or my point of views. I put my point of view also there.
You got to be very independent at a very young age, and your father also pushed you in a big way to, nudged you to file your own petition and not make him do it. So how independent are you financially, if I may ask? Are you planning for your future already?
So like, yeah, I wanna study abroad after my 12th.
You want to take up environmentalism full time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you want to study abroad. So
Yeah.
what are you doing in order to save up the money, or you haven't started it yet?
So I collect the money, like I take the money from my mother, grandmother, like my relatives give me. I like collect it in my piggy bank, and after that my father take it and he just deposit it to the bank. So like, yes, I'm financially prepared.
Okay, so by the time you reach college, you want to have some money ready,
Yeah.
so that you're prepared, not entirely unprepared for
Yeah.
paying up the fees, of course. As somebody who is the future of this country, what are some small steps people of your age and the young generation, the kids, can take to do their best to make the environment a better place?
We should save the paper, and we should not waste water. We should not waste food, and we should save electricity, and we can avoid like chips and all. We can eat it, but less in amount, because it's single-use plastic, and we should avoid using plastic and single-use plastic. I take bucket bath instead of using shower, and if I'm going to my tuition classes or nearby places, sometime I go by walking, or sometime I use my bicycle instead of making my parents use their vehicles. And like, I'm not wasting papers, like my old session notebooks, which are like left with papers. I just take those papers and I make a rough notebook of that instead of throwing that. And I donate my old books to the other children's, and like, it's a type of I'm reusing it, and they're gonna get the benefit of that.
You've achieved a lot very early and very young in your life. How do your friends, your relatives react to this? Tell us about how life has changed for you in the last 2-3 years.
There are a bit changes now. I have to deal with media person and all, and I have to give many interviews also, and I have to skip my studies in schools also because of because I have to attend the events also, and like it's a kind of like celebrity like feeling in my home because like nobody has done this before, and I'm the only one. I'm the first child to do that.
You are
like,
a celebrity, and that's why we are talking to you, because your opinion and your take on things definitely does matter given how much you have achieved. Ridhima, all the very best with your initiatives, with your passion and with your drive to change the world and make it a better place to live. Thank you for coming to our studios.
Thank you.
Well, it's very intriguing and very, very encouraging how the youths and how especially the children are thinking right now in order with respect to environment change, with respect to climate issues, etc. We'll slip into a short break, but when we come back, we have a very young and budding entrepreneur who will be joining us on the other side. Let's keep it with some more star kids that we are covering on ET Now today in order to celebrate the very special day that is today. It's Children's Day. Next up, we have Tilak Mehta. He's founded this company called Paper and Parcels, and let's understand what his journey has been like, how it feels to be financially independent at such a young age. Here's Neha Tyagi, my colleague, who had a chat with him. Let's look at the excerpt.
Since my childhood, I've always been thinking, when can I start my own business? How can I do that, and in which field do I get in? So I was always looking for an opportunity then, and that is when an incident occurred that where I had gone to Borivali at my uncle's place, and when I came back to Ghatkopar, I realized I'd forgotten my books there while my exams were coming up. So I asked my father if he could send one of his peon or driver to get my books from there. He said there was no peon or driver available. So I started looking for courier companies that provide same-day delivery within the city of Mumbai. And I found really few that provide same-day delivery, and all of them charge a bomb price. So I was fortunate to have resources like a peon or driver, but what about the people who don't? I wondered. So I thought that this is a need in the market, so why not start a company that provides services like this? So here I saw an opportunity, and there I go seize it.
How did you start? What was the stepping point, and who did you approach? Who did you tell that you had this excellent idea, and then what happened afterwards?
So the first person I approached with this idea was my father. So I walked up to him after a really tiring day of his, and I shared with him that this is an incident that I went through, and can we start some company that provides same-day delivery at affordable rates within the city of Mumbai? So my dad being really positive towards it, he said, why don't you go and do a little research about it and then get back to me. I started searching for the delivery partners that I could have, and that is when I found that the Mumbai's Dabbawalas had been functioning in here since 128 years. So I thought, why not collaborate with them and get on board with, and get them board on with us and start a company like this. And then getting a CEO on board, it was really I used to visit his office only for Starbucks because it was right below his office. So I used to go there, and just the way I share my daily life with him, I shared this idea too, to ask him whether it makes any sense financially. So I sat with him at Starbucks many times, and we discussed about it, and we never knew how serious we got. It led him to leave his banking job and get on board with us now.
Now that you have a proper business, Papers and Parcels, talk to us about what the business is today from the day you started. Were you able to achieve, even in a little percentage, what you set out to achieve with this venture?
So from the day we started, today we have the biggest of the clients of the biggest of the industries on board with us, like Metropolis, Thyrocare, Hindustan Times. and also Samsara, that is one of the biggest shipping agencies. And today we deliver close to around 2,500 parcels each day, starting from zero. So that's quite a grand success for us, and it has been 1 year, only 1 year since we have established, and looking forward for higher.
You said it's been a year now. What were the biggest challenges that you faced? I mean, not just as somebody who's starting a new business, but also because you're a 14-year-old child. So in that sense, what were the biggest challenges that you faced?
So not only one, but there were many challenges that I faced starting from my age. That was the biggest barrier for me, and sometimes still is. Later getting the Six Sigmas, the Harvard lecturers, the Mumbai ka Dabbawalas on board with us. Later getting them from train to training room, teaching them how could they work with technology as they had never done before. Also, when we used to go to clients to talk about business, it served as a really like it did not give quite a support, and they were quite restricted as to how can we trust our company to a 13-year-old as I was then. So yes, that was one of the challenge, and also spreading awareness that there is such a company that provides such a service in the market. So and there were so many more challenges, like today I face managing my school and my business together. And also one of the most important challenge was getting initial funds. Like we have taken the initial funds from a parent company that belongs to my father. Many people must be thinking that that must have been easy getting funds from your father, but I believe that was the most difficult part, because you have meeting with an investor monthly, but you have to answer your dad each night. So yes, but I believe all these challenges will pay back soon.
What is the kind of numbers that you're doing today in terms of the kind of deliveries you're making today?
So today we have made about 2,500 deliveries per day on an average, and we have done about more than 250,000 deliveries up till now easily.
And
okay, that's all we have in this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, the Children's Day special. But stay tuned to ET Now. All day we will be celebrating achievers and kids who have gone the extra mile and made it big at a very, very young age. But for now, it's a goodbye on Buy Now, Sell Now.